and today we are going to be talking about the efficiency of ethanol as a biofuel. So for starters, what is biofuel? Biofuel is a form of fuel derived from the matter of renewable resources in the environment around us, and this matter is also known as biomass. And so the purpose of biofuel is to provide a sustainable substitute for the non-renewable resources of the earth, such as fossil fuels, so we don't burn through them. Now, more specifically, ethanol is a biofuel formed from sugars, starches from plants. And its main purpose is to be used as a mixer in gasoline in order to cut down their carbon footprint. So how is ethanol made? Ethanol is made from plant starches and sugars, and the plant starches are produced from the excess glucose that is produced during photosynthesis. And the sugars are made through photosynthesis with oxygen as a byproduct. And so ethanol's production starts with plant starches being grinded and liquefied, and then glucoamylase is utilized to catalyze the breaking down of starch molecules into glucose. Third, yeast is added for fermentation. And finally, the remaining products are distilled and dehydrated in order to make the ethanol ready to be added to the gasoline. And so how available is this ethanol? Well, ethanol-based gasoline is one of the most used form of biofuel in the United States, as over 97% of our gasoline contains some presence of ethanol within it. And now let's talk about the carbon footprint. So for every gallon of ethanol that is produced, 8,595 grams of CO2 are emitted. And speaking per mile, using ethanol for 1 mile produces about 315 grams of CO2. And the efficiency is ethanol produces approximately 40 to 50% less greenhouse gas than the emissions of non-ethanol gasoline. Moving on, we're going to talk about the economic impact. So in 2021 in the United States, over 73,000 jobs were provided in the ethanol department. And also in 2021, ethanol produced domestically $52.1 billion and provided $28.7 billion to household income. Moving on to publicity, the two main forms of ethanol publicity is labeling and government intervention. So for ethanol labeling, gas stations are legally required to label the content of ethanol on each of their pumps to be more clear to their consumers. And the United States government offers grants, loan guarantees, and tax credits to companies that use biofuel in order to persuade these companies to want to use biofuel to gain these benefits. And now let's talk about an overall analysis. So ethanol is overall extremely effective as a biofuel due to its reduction in gasoline carbon emissions and its great positive impacts that we spoke on earlier. So moving forward, governments should implement policies to encourage gasoline companies to invest in using ethanol and fund more publicity of ethanol so its environmental benefits can be brought into this world by the citizens using ethanol-based gasoline. And so finally, we're going to cover a plan of action to have more ethanol be used. And so first, we would want to fund the publicity of the benefits of ethanol to the public in order to increase the demand from the public. And an increase of this demand will cause a shift in the price, which will bring more money to ethanol companies. And with this new money that they're bringing in, ethanol companies will be able to increase their production to meet even more demand. And fourth, more ethanol production means that ethanol will be able to reach more of their consumers. And step 5 would be the increase in the amount of people using ethanol-based gasoline will cause an increase in these benefits all over the world. And this will lead to carbon emissions eventually being lowered quite substantially. And these are all my sources. Thank you all for listening and have a nice day.